Hey, crew. Hope you're all doing well. Oh, there we go. Got my glasses on straight. That's good. I'm here in the lower decks and midships. Hope you're doing well. Got some book news. I have two books that are coming out in November. Yes, November. A new trilogy featuring the terraforming generation ship Ganges and its crew only 500 years after the Crucible Spirals trilogy. This trilogy starts the Invasion Spirals. So that's very exciting for me. First book just got back from the proofreader. All the proofreading is done now. Gotten the next edit all finished. So now comes the final edit before I start prepping it. The cover for this piece is being created right now. So that's very, very exciting. The other thing that's coming out in November is a standalone book, a fantasy. And this one is it's a sarcastic fantasy. uh, Again, no elves or dwarves or anything like that. Not that I have anything against elves and dwarves. They're certainly fascinating characters to have in fantasy, but it's a little overdone. It's a little overdone. So I'm avoiding that. But I am creating an interesting set of worlds. That all began with my first fantasy book, Clockmaker, and now we're moving on to a book called Favorite Son, which will be released in November along with the first book of the Invasion Spirals. And that is very exciting news. Favorite Son just got back from the proofreader as well. We're going through it now. So it's just a couple of steps behind the first book of the Invasion Spirals. It's just a little bit behind, but that's okay. They're both going to be published around the same time, and they'll be ready by the end of November. Oh, very excited about this. I've also got a show coming up, a book signing, and that'll be at the C. Simpson Used Bookshop at the West End Plaza in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania. That is right off of Route 209 for those who are familiar with the area. It's across from the Weiss. It's right in between like the Weiss Market and the Kinsley's ShopRite. There's like a little strip mall there. It's got a Hallmark. It's got the used bookstore. It's got Mike's Pizza and a few other localities in there. So that's where it's going to be. It's going to be on September 24th. So this month, in 23 days, I will be there from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. selling all my books at a deep discount with a special offer on buying the Crucible Spirals trilogy. If you buy the whole trilogy, which is Crew of Ganges, Veil of Strife, and Painful Medicine, all of them going at half price, I will give you Tales from the Age of Unity free. Tales from the Age of Unity is a bit of a prequel book. All of it happens before the Crucible Spirals, and it's a collection of two novellas and several short stories that go in chronological order. And I do recommend reading the trilogy first, only because some of the references you're not going to get. That must be maintenance. Uh, they work hard. They work hard. So always give them respect. Don't know if you can hear that, but someone's working in one of the other corridors there, and that works fine with me. They're keeping this place good. So these are the things that are coming up. I'm very much looking forward to the book signing. Last one was a real eye-opener. I almost ran out of books. It was hard to believe, but yeah. And from what I've heard so far from the people who have bought them, uh, my readers are really enjoying what I've written. So that warms my heart tremendously. Some people have actually reached out to me and have told me what they think, which is golden. I'm very grateful to everyone who has done that. Thank you. I'm also going to be once again setting up a sign-up list for my newsletter. I have a weekly newsletter, though this week it's late. Oh, it's been a long week, a lot of doctor visits, things like that. I'm okay, but it's procedural stuff. But the newsletter is a weekly newsletter, and it's an email thing. If you would like to get the newsletter, even if you can't be at the book signings or anything like that, if you're just curious about the newsletter, drop me a line at galatastudios@gmail.com and give me your email address, and I'll put you on the list. And every week you'll be receiving updates from the studio and about how things are going on here, and some inside glimpses of how things are working and what goes on in my crazy head. Could be fun, could be very entertaining. I think it is. A couple of people have said that they really enjoy the newsletter, so that's nice to hear. And that also gives you more contact information if you want to get in touch with me and talk about, well, the books or my artwork, or any other creative endeavor, what I'm doing with the book signings. Very much looking forward to the next one. Oh my goodness. I do like selling my books to people directly. I mean, I really, really enjoy that. It means a lot to me. Some people, they get a little twitchy about meeting the public. I don't know. These are your readers. I mean, these are people who you're reaching out to. It behooves you, I think, to be active and welcoming with a smile. These are nice things to have on your face. A smile and bright eyes. Doesn't matter if it's 10 in the morning, you've only had a single cup of coffee and nothing for breakfast. That doesn't matter. These people are coming to see you and to check out your books and to have a couple of things signed, maybe ask a question or two, and you're there to provide a show. And that's what it's about. That's what it's all about. I have heard from some people, other authors, who say that the book signings seem very empty. No one even approaches them. No one, says anything to them. They just kind of squeak by them. And I've seen a little bit of that. Some people do. They're kind of like, oh, I don't see you. I don't see you. I'm just walking into the store here. That's okay. There's got to be people like that. But if you smile at them and say, welcome, welcome, hey, crew, come on over. If you're inviting them, they might come over. If you look like you can't wait to speak with them, they'll feel special, and they are special. They're your readers. Even if they don't like the genre you're writing in, just the fact that you're greeting them and being friendly means the world to the people who are going to a book signing event, or even just shopping in a place that is hosting a book signing event. They didn't even know it was there. Some people, they walk in like, oh, what's this? There's a book signing. And if you're like, hey, good to see you. Come on. Let's talk about this. I find they're very likely to do so. They're likely to come over and join in. That's how you get readers. You reach out to them. Don't just rely on Amazon ads. Don't just rely on Facebook ads or things like that, or Google ads or whatever other ads you can think of. I mean, it's all mental floss in the end. But what you really want to do is, as a person, you want to reach out to the people who are reading your book. That is how you get good attention to the works that you're providing. Now, if you're just starting, you've got one book and you're really nervous about it, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Act as if you are hosting a party, and these are all the people you've invited. Doesn't matter you don't know them. You're doing a public event. You've invited the public. So make them feel invited. Make them feel comfortable. You don't have to run up to them and grab them by the lapels and go, come on, get over here, have a seat. Yeah. No, don't do that. Don't do that. But wave, smile, say hello. Say how glad you are to see them. And it's like, oh, what's this? Oh, well, I'm having a book signing. Come on over. Would you like to see my book? Would you like to see it? You know, people get curious. Not everyone will, and that's okay. Some people will ignore you. Some people even scowl at you like you're in their way or something. That's fine. That's fine. But let them go. Let them go. You don't have to capture everyone. You don't necessarily want everyone, and your book is not going to please everyone. But those who might be inclined are kind of looking for permission to approach. They're looking for a reason to stop by. And if you don't give them that reason, if you don't make them feel welcome, they are going to ignore you and walk away. Even if they are bibliophiles, they're not going to bother if you're sitting like, oh, yeah, I'm doing a book signing. Don't do that. Don't do that. I even have a t-shirt specially made with the cover of Crew of Ganges on it. I wear my cap. I wear a special shirt. I've got my little table out there. I've got all kinds of crazy stuff. If I'm in a venue where I'm playing music, I'm playing the music that I write my books to. I do listen to music. It helps me. And not stuff with a lot of lyrics. The lyrics don't always bother me. But more mood pieces, and I have a separate list for writing fantasy from my science fiction. I don't really want to be writing fantasy and hearing a lot of, sci-fi tones, and, acoustic can go well with science fiction, especially Ganges, but you want to hear a little more electronics when you're doing sci-fi, I find anyway. So you can do that too. You take a little portable speaker, hook it up, let it run, bring people into the world. Bring people into the world that you are selling to them. And they'll thank you. They'll feel special. People like feeling special. People like feeling like they're in on it. And you know what? They are. If they're your readers, they are the ones in on it. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And if someone comes up to you and say, hey, on page 87, you made a mistake here. That's what do? You thank them. Oh, thank you. Ooh, let me get a little note here. Let me write that down, and I'll catch it when I update for the second edition. Yes, that's what you do. You thank them. And if someone goes up to you nicely and says, I noticed this, and maybe you could do this or that. They have helpful suggestions. Don't go like, oh, please, you don't know. No. You thank them, and then you ask that person, have you considered being a beta reader? Would you like to check out my works before they're actually published so that I can, would you like to be in on the first chapter as it comes right out? First draft, would you like to take a look at that? 50% of the time, I find those people say yes, because that's exactly what they're looking for. That's what they're looking for. They want to add their piece, and that's fine. That's fine. Some people say, I didn't like your book. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is there a reason in particular? Nah, just, nah. Okay, that's fine. Let them go. If they have nothing constructive to say, let them go. It's okay. It's okay. But if someone does have something constructive to say, wow, it's time to listen. Put your ego aside and listen when someone says, hey, I was thinking your book's okay, but you tend to have these weird skips in the paragraph where you kind of get lost here. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does make it really hard to, well, that's something you should know about. How else are you supposed to get better as an author unless you listen to constructive critiquing? See, for me, there's a difference between criticism. I don't like your work sucks. That's not critiquing. And real critiquing, where someone is saying, well, when I look at the dialogue of your characters, they all speak with the same voice. Perhaps you should, you know, change it out so that they're not always using the same expressions. And I have seen that in books. Okay. That's something I'm very careful about. I want my characters to be recognizable even without so-and-so said or such and such. They replied that. Even without that, you should be able to tell who is speaking. And that takes practice, and that takes a little skill, and it takes a lot of thinking. But it can be done. But if someone comes up to you saying, hey, this is what you need, listen to them. Because if you ignore them, they're not going to be the only one who feel this way. They were just the ones brave enough to tell you. So encourage that courage and thank them for the critique, because it is required. If someone's just like, oh, I love this book, ask some specific questions. People like that. You go like, so who were some of your favorite characters? Or what scene really stands out in your mind? Because you want to know these things. You, the author, want to know these things. Ask them. If you are an active author at your book signing, you will have active readers at the event. And that's my advice. And I understand I haven't been doing this all my life or anything like that, just for a few years. But I have done sales of paintings, drawings, and even homemade products, crafts and stuff. It's the same procedures. You do the same things, and you listen to people. You get them involved. They become your customers. And that's what a reader is. They're your customer, and you want to attract them. You want to make them feel special. So that's my advice for this little installment of my YouTube page, David Gullotta Book Dreamer. Please do subscribe if you haven't done so, and spread the word. Please, you're important to me. Yes, you. And I would love to hear from you. So in the meantime, have yourselves a great week and take care. Thank you so much for watching.